My most humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beautiful Lord. Sai Ram to all. To continue my story with the children, what Durgesh said sort of stayed in my head, and I was wondering how could I keep him, or how could I take some of the children, because Sylvie was already overcrowded. So I thought about it, and then there were two friends in my Sai Plaza named Malcolm and Pat. They had a two-bedroom flat. And when I told them, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I would like to take, Durgesh. And then they said, "Oh, Jayashree, don't worry about it. We are more than happy because all these people in the hotel who had apartments and the guests, all of them were part of the Christmas celebrations. So they saw this wonderful day with the orphan children. And Pat told me, no problem, Jayashree. You ask Sylvie and take in Durgesh. We will keep him with us until you make some arrangement. So Durgesh came to the hotel and he started to stay with Pat and Malcolm. They took him for darshan and they took good care of him. So while this was going on, I told Swamini about what had happened, and she told me, Jayashree, I think it is time to get started on your home for the children. So I had this land in Brahmanapalli, which the Sai Aishwarya Gardens, and Swami gave me a name, Sai Ashritam. Ashritam means those who are dependent on Swami or the refugees of Swami in a broader sense. So I got started. I made a plan with 6 bedrooms, with a big hall, a large kitchen, an outer kitchen and an inner kitchen, and sufficient room for the children, the orphans who would come into this home. And there were 2 rooms for the in mothers. Liba, of course, was already dedicated to being with the children, and one more room was there in case we had any other lady to take care of the children. So this work for the Sai Ashritam home got started. I had Kerala people come and start the building. And in the meanwhile, what happened was Swami said, there are more children. I want you to bring them in one by one. So one day, Liba and I, we went to a school or a government school near the Hanuman temple, which was only meant for girls. So we went there and there were like more than 100 children there. I spoke to the warden and, very unexpectedly, 4 of those children came up to us, and straight away Liba and I looked at each other and we understood. These were one of the first ones coming. There were 4 girls, Sai Sudha, Sai Ganga, and 2 girls who were sisters. So I told this madam, I'm opening an orphanage. I would like to take these 4 children. So I sponsored one, Liba sponsored one, and there were 2 other friends with us from Holland who said that they would take in the other 2. And so we took in those 4 children. Since the house was not ready, we had to put them somewhere, and just across from my property was this Baba Residential School. This was run by an amazing man named Dastagiri. He was giving education to a lot of poor children. At the same time, he was taking in also very poor children whose parents couldn't afford to take them to school. Put them in school, and many of them were sponsored by Sai devotees from abroad. So they would take in a child, pay the fees for a year, and keep them in this school. And it was a boarding school, so the food and accommodation and the schooling, everything was done there. So there were a lot of children there. So I went there and with Liba, and we took these 4 children and also Durgesh, and put them, all 5 of them, in that school. And we paid the fees for them to stay there until, at least for a year, because the Sai Ashritam home has to be ready by then. So we had 5 children, and then surprisingly, I don't know from where, one by one, little ones started to come, the people who knew me started bringing, saying, oh, this is Ganesh, he doesn't have his parents, he's from Bombay, his parents died. And like that, within like 10-15 days, I had about 17 children, and they were all put in this residential school because it was convenient. They would get their schooling, they would be given food, and then every Sunday, Leva and I and some of my friends, there was another lady, Komala, and many of my friends who came and stayed in Sai Plaza or had bought apartments from me, they all got very happy and wanted to be involved with this orphanage. So they would come, we would go on Sunday to this land in Ramnapalli, opposite to the school, where the work for the house was going on. So the children would come there, we would, delouse them if they had any infections. Kamala was a nurse, so she would put medication and, bandages and whatnot. So she did all the treatment for the little ones. And many of the times, if they were not had a proper bath, we had the facility to give them a bath and change of clothes and everything. So this went on for about a year. Every time we go, we would take them some food, biscuits and snacks and all that. And this continued. In the meantime, another Christmas was coming, and I wanted to give, some kind of toys for the little children. And it was amazing how Swami provided everything for these little ones. And there was a friend of Liba's, when she met her, she said that she was looking for children to whom she could give a whole bag of teddy bears that had come from England. And Liba said, don't worry, we have more than enough children. It would be such a blessing for them. And this lady gave a whole, lot of teddy bears, all made the same way so that the children wouldn't fight about it. And our children got teddy bears for that Christmas. Another time, the school, anyway, at this time, we also wanted to build a school so that the children could study and the orphans could stay in the Sai Ashritam home. So this was just opposite to each other on either side of the road. So this school work also got started, and Swami gave me the funds to build the school also simultaneously. So the school building was an L-shaped building. It had about 5 or 6 classrooms. There was an office room, and there was also a huge common room, like it was used for dining, at the same time for the smaller children to play, and also the assembly and everything. It was a multifunctional room, and there were bathrooms built for the children. Everything was there. It was a very, very well planned, simple school, And the best thing about this school was that it had a huge playground. Most of the private schools in Puttaparthi, other than Swami school at the time, did not have any playgrounds. They were all cooped up in 2-3 rooms, and the class, they sat on the floor and studied, and that was it. There was no playtime, there was no playground, no sports, nothing. So this was I think it was a necessity that children need to run and play and have sports and have fun, at least for a few hours in the day, instead of being cooped up the whole day in the school. So the school building also got ready, and finally Swami had given us a date. We did a wonderful puja, and the school was opened. Before the school was opened, I also, I couldn't run the school with just 17 children, right? So we let it be known that we would take in poor children whose parents' income was less than, 5,000 or 3,000 a month. And all of them were supposed to go and take, income certificates from the MRO office, and then only we would take in their children. So many of the parents went and got the certificate from the MRO's office that they were below the income level, and we took in those children. So suddenly, in a month's time, I had about 120 children for the school. of different ages. We were starting from the very small ones up to like 7, 8 years, because we didn't have the teaching facility for the higher classes. And these children had not gone to school at all. So even though they were older, they didn't know anything. They had not gone to school at all. So we thought this is okay, we will get started. We will segregate them as per age and start. And at this time, Somani was more than gracious to send me a lot of her students from the US who took turns to come and be part of the school. And one of them was a very highly qualified MEd teacher with vast teaching experience in the US, named Shankari Adams, and she was in charge of the school. More to continue with this story. I hope you enjoyed it. Sai Ram.